What if I told you that behind the tales of power lies a hidden world of personal secrets, brutal truths, and enigmatic mysteries? Get ready to peel back the layers and discover the covert history of Genghis Khan, a narrative long kept in the shadows. It's time to shine a light on some of the surprising facts that have remained hidden from history. Let's uncover the hidden truths about the notorious Genghis Khan that history books didn't tell you about. Genghis Khan's real name. Long before history immortalized him as Genghis Khan, the legendary conqueror, there existed a young boy named Temujin, whose tale began amidst the harsh winds of adversity. As a young boy named Temujin, life was tough. When he was just 9, his dad, the leader of their tribe, was poisoned by rivals. This tragedy left Temujin's family struggling to survive. Their life was rough, with no food, relying on whatever they could find, like wild plants and fishing, even eating tree roots. Other tribes took advantage of their weakness, raiding their homes. Things got worse when Temujin was captured during a raid. But he didn't give up. He managed to escape, showing his strength and courage. These tough times made Temujin strong. They shaped him into someone who wouldn't back down, a person who'd later become known as Genghis Khan, leaving a lasting legacy in history. Climbing the ladder of leadership. Temujin's life changed a lot. After escaping capture, he realized he needed friends to survive. He joined forces with Togrul, a friend of his dad, and got help from other Mongol groups. But it wasn't easy. Many Mongol tribes didn't like him getting powerful. They attacked him a lot. However, Temujin was smart. He made friends and used his brains to stay strong. Then, in 1206, something big happened. Leaders from different Mongol groups agreed to call Temujin Khan, which meant the big boss. He became Genghis Khan, the leader of all leaders. From a boy who faced tough times, Genghis Khan became a powerful leader. His smarts, courage, and how he brought people together made him a legendary figure whose story still inspires today. Genghis Khan's vast territorial acquisitions. Genghis Khan wasn't just a leader, he was a conqueror on a massive scale. Once he became Khan, he didn't stop at Mongolia. He went further, taking over parts of China like the Xia, Jin, and Song dynasties. But that was only the start. He didn't stop there. He went into Central Asia, and even further, places that never thought they'd see Mongol rule. From China to areas near the Mediterranean Sea, his conquests were huge. His empire was gigantic. By 1227, he ruled over 5.2 million square miles of land. That's almost 1/3 of all of Asia. It was way bigger than Alexander the Great's empire. Genghis Khan's empire was probably the mightiest of its time. He conquered lands across continents, changing history and how the world looked. Brutalities of Genghis Khan. Behind the grandeur of conquests lies a dark truth, an era marked not just by expansion, but by the grim tally of lives lost and ruthless acts perpetrated under Genghis Khan's rule. The numbers are staggering. Historians estimate that during Genghis Khan's reign, the toll of human lives lost reached a staggering 40 million. To put that in perspective, it accounted for about 8 to 10% of the world's population back then. This was a time when the world's population was considerably lower than in later centuries, making the scale of devastation even more alarming. Poverty and diseases stemming from wars added to these grim numbers. Cities and countries that dared stand in Genghis Khan's path faced relentless destruction. His conquests were marked by a ferocity that left behind a trail of devastation, reshaping landscapes and populations in ways that history still bears witness to today. The legacy of Genghis Khan, despite his achievements, is tinged with the stark reality of immense suffering and loss. Chronicles of massacres and ruined cities. History bears witness to the horrifying tales of massacres and the relentless destruction of cities under Genghis Khan's command. One such incident was the ruthless retaliation against the Persian Empire. When a Persian governor attacked a Mongol convoy, Genghis Khan responded with unbridled fury. He led a retaliatory campaign that razed cities to the ground, claiming to be the instrument of divine punishment. The destruction was relentless, culminating in the decimation of approximately 500,000 civilians, nearly 90% of the Persian population at that time. The Russian soldiers, too, experienced the chilling aftermath of defeat. The Mongol army celebrated victory in a manner that sent shivers down the spines of onlookers. They laid the defeated soldiers on the ground, covering them with wooden slabs, and feasted upon them until their lives were crushed away. Genghis Khan's army of wives. Genghis Khan's marital life was expansive, to say the least. He had around 40 wives, gathered from tribes and territories he conquered. Among these, 4 held the highest rank as great empresses. These great empresses resided in yurts, responsible for managing them in Khan's absence. At the forefront of this union was Borta Khatun, Khan's first wife, who married at the young age of 16. She held the highest rank among all the queens and wielded significant influence in Khan's life and decisions. But Genghis Khan's family was far from small. He believed a leader's strength lay in the legacy he left behind. In addition to these wives, he maintained a vast harem comprising 2,000 to 3,000 of the most beautiful women, acquired from conquests. With them, he fathered thousands of children. Through his extensive relationships and harem of thousands of women, he fathered a vast number of children. Research conducted by a Russian academy estimated that approximately 16 million male descendants of Genghis Khan might be living in Central Asia today. What's even more astonishing is the prevalence of his genes in the Asian population. It's believed that about 1 in every 200 individuals in Asia could trace their lineage back to Genghis Khan. A simple gene test might connect countless Asians to this legendary figure. Genghis Khan's code of law beyond the battlefield. Genghis Khan was a visionary leader who understood the need for order and structure in his burgeoning empire. He established a code of law known as Yasa or Yasak, a set of rules that defined the behavior of his subjects and carried significant weight, even for Khan himself. This code of law was more than just a set of rules. It was the backbone of governance and order in the Mongol Empire. It outlined expected behaviors and the penalties for those who defied the laws. What set Genghis Khan apart was his adherence to these rules. He, just like any other citizen, was bound by the laws he established. Meritocracy was a cornerstone of his governance. He appointed officials based on their abilities rather than lineage, fostering a system where promotions in the military were earned through demonstrated skills and accomplishments. This approach wasn't just limited to governance. Even within his family, Genghis Khan ordered his counselors to nominate successors based solely on their potential to succeed. Genghis Khan's appearance. One of the most intriguing aspects of Genghis Khan's story lies not in what is known, but in what remains shrouded in mystery. It was the absence of any authentic visual representation of the great conqueror. Unlike many historical figures of his stature, Genghis Khan left no commissioned portraits or sculptures during his reign. His appearance remains a riddle, a blank canvas upon which artists and historians have attempted to draw a picture. Some believe it was a deliberate choice by Genghis Khan himself, preferring to keep his appearance veiled in secrecy. Others speculate that the lack of a visual depiction could have been a result of practicalities, like the nomadic lifestyle of the Mongols or the destruction of his legacy by subsequent rulers. Whatever the reason, the absence of a visual representation adds to the mystique surrounding Genghis Khan. Mysterious death and burial. His death in 1227 marked the end of an era, yet the circumstances surrounding his demise are veiled in uncertainty, with various accounts weaving a tapestry of intrigue. Mongolian sources suggest one story, that Genghis Khan succumbed to an infection from a fall off his horse, an injury that never healed. Another tale, chronicled by the famous Marco Polo, claims that an arrow wound sustained in battle against the Western Jaya led to his demise due to an infection. Yet another narrative, spun by Chinese lore, suggests a revenge-driven plot. The princess of the Western Xia allegedly killed Genghis Khan to avenge the slaughter of her family and prevent herself from being sexually assaulted. However, the mystery doesn't end with his death. The whereabouts of Genghis Khan's final resting place, his grave, remains a puzzle. The Mongolian tradition of secret burials for elites adds to the enigma. Legend has it that Genghis Khan commanded a river to be diverted over his burial site, to ensure its secrecy and protection, guarding it against desecration for eternity. Genghis Khan ordered the killing of 2,000 slaves who worked on burying. After the Khan was laid to rest in his unmarked grave, 1,000 horsemen trampled over the area to obscure the grave's exact location. Afterward, those horsemen were killed, and then the soldiers who had killed the horsemen were also killed, all to keep the grave's location secret. Soviet suppression. During the 20th century, particularly under Soviet rule, there were concerted efforts to erase or downplay the significance of historical figures, including Genghis Khan, within territories under Soviet control. The Soviets aimed to reshape historical narratives to align with communist ideology, emphasizing different heroes and narratives that supported their political agenda. They sought to diminish the prominence of historical figures like Genghis Khan, whose legacies often conflicted with the ideology propagated by the Soviet government. Efforts were made to suppress or rewrite historical accounts, alter school curricula, and discourage public discussions or celebrations related to figures like Genghis Khan. It was even to mention his name during the Soviet era in the 20th century. Soviets attempted to eradicate Mongolian nationalism. Genghis Khan's stories from the school textbooks were removed, and even pilgrimage to his birthplace in Khenti was prohibited. Mongolians' loyalty to Genghis Khan's. Despite the efforts to suppress his legacy, Genghis Khan's story didn't fade into obscurity. Genghis Khan is now regarded as a national hero and the founding father of Mongolia. Not only that, but you might find his imaginary portrait on the Mongolian currency. His legacy was reintroduced into school curricula, and monuments were erected in his honor. Celebrations and commemorations of Genghis Khan's achievements became more prevalent, restoring his status as a revered historical figure. These were some of the filthy secrets of Genghis Khan that many history books didn't tell you. His life was a tapestry woven with threads of triumph, brutality, and unfathomable mystery. Hope you enjoyed the video. Share it with your friends who would love to know these unknown facts about Genghis Khan. Subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so that you don't miss out on such interesting videos.